534, resolution to clarify the vote on County Form 534 on August 17th was not intended to be a resolution of support for Blackwater, rather an attempt by the board to stay engaged in the process to help shape events so the Potrero community does not get shortchanged by the county. And would the secretary read the resolution?
The resolution for clarification. Okay, resolution of the Potrero Planning Group clarifying the August 16, 2007 vote. Whereas the Blackwater West project in Potrero has become a political issue rather than a land use issue. And 2, the actions of the Potrero Community Planning Board are being politically misconstrued. And 3, it was not intended for the Form 534 resolution to be construed as support for the project, but rather for the board to stay engaged in the process to maximize the influence of the board over the process in order for it to best represent the community. And 4, for the board to be able to get the Blackwater promises in writing in the event the county approves their major use permit as recommended by Congressman Bob Filner. And 5, this board believes a straight no vote would end any influence and input the Potrero board would have in the process. Now therefore, the Potrero Planning Group resolves that the Form 534 vote was not intended as support for the Blackwater West project. 2, the Form 534 vote was intended to get more information for the community and to get any promises to the community in writing in the event that the county approves the multiple use application.
Do we have any discussion?
Well, the only problem I really see with the entire thing is that on Form 534, you have 3 options. You can approve with or without conditions, deny or continue, and when you first did Form 534, you checked the box that said approve with conditions. Now, anybody picking up this form down at the DPLU is going to interpret that as approval for the project, which is what this contention has been about, because you only have these 3 options. So this has always shown that the board has approved.
Have you looked at the one for August 16th?
We were never given a copy.
Oh, I beg your
No, the
pardon.
resolution you gave me, but I didn't get a completed Form 534. I got the resolution, but there's a completed Form 534, and I don't know if you checked continue or approve with conditions. I'm not sure what the form reads.
It is very clear on that form that it was not intended to be support.
What did you
I
check?
made additional notes to that on that form.
Can I get a copy of that?
Absolutely.
Okay, I want a copy of that.
Can you pass it around to everybody? I'd like a copy too.
I'll have the next meeting.
Or can you scan it or fax it so I can scan it and send it to the people who give me their email addresses and want it?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll put a copy in your mailbox tomorrow, and you can scan it
All right.
and circulate it.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If you're saying that approving with conditions means that you've approved, that you're for it, and from what I've been reading in the papers, that Mr. Lutz has been saying that if you vote you're against it, then all of Potrero is against it. So if you can't say I'm against it, but I want more information. That's not one of the check marks on there. Is that correct?
It says approve with or without conditions, deny or continue.
All right. So if you didn't say approve with conditions, then you would be saying deny.
Correct.
And no more, and not asking for any information.
The reason why I did it the way I did, the board members are required to go to training with the County of San Diego.
Mhm.
Over the past 20 years, I've probably been to 5 of them. And not every one of those training sessions deals with Form 534, but some of them have. And in the one that I was at where it did deal with that Form 534, it was discussed at length. And we were advised that this was the best way to handle where you want more information and want to stay involved. So that's why it was done that way.
Right.
Now, there was such an outcry on the December one that when I did the August one, I was very clear on that one to state that our community was very concerned about the noise and those items, and specifically stated on there that about the noise and the traffic, and that the resolution was a part of that reply. So, it's one of those things that you either stay engaged in the process or you're finished with the process.
Right.
And if we had said no, we would have been finished with the process.
Yeah. And I don't think that's I know that's not what I want in referral, and I'm not sure that's what anybody wants referral. I think people still want information, even though right now they may be against it. But I believe they would want more. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe nobody wants any more information, but I do. I'd like to have more information. If everything they say is true, then I don't think it's that bad a deal. But they'd have to prove that it is true. And right now, we need more information.
And they haven't proved it yet.
No, they haven't proved anything yet. The same
And every time I ask them about it, they say, what's your hurry? It's a 2-year process.
But what I've been reading in the paper that Mr. Lutz says is that if the board votes no, then Blackwater should pull out, because that means the community says no. And if that's so, then that board doesn't speak for me and half the other people in here, because I want more information. I want to stay engaged in it, and that's what I told the reporters who called me also. I want to stay engaged in it, and as far as I know, a lot of other people want to stay engaged in getting more information. I'm not for it, and I'm not against it, but I want more information. And don't laugh, it's not, I've gotten real tired of that. I went this weekend at a rally to get more information and was harassed the whole time I was there. And that's not the type of thing that I think that the trail needs to be doing. I think that if you want more information and you come to these meetings, I shouldn't harass you and you shouldn't harass me. I have all the right to go anywhere I want that's public, and the same vice versa. But I was harassed this weekend.
Fran, you've been patient longer than anybody else.
Gordon, what would it signify if we checked continue?
Then continued means that you haven't made a decision one way or the other, and you're not ready to check one of the other boxes yet.
Would that be an appropriate option for us?
No, because we were making demands.
Yeah.
So it was approved with conditions, was the only other option. And, if in order to get the conditions,
We check continue and say, this is why we're checking continue.
the form doesn't have that option, unfortunately.
So,
You have to deal with the form that you have, and it's not a good form.
so you were able to list the conditions either?
Yes, we did.
Oh, you were
We did
able,
this
there
with
was
the
spots
conditions.
that, for the
Absolutely.
noise and the traffic and all that?
Oh,
On that
absolutely.
534 form?
They're black and white.
Thank you.
Right. Jerry?
I'm a little confused on item number 4. It says, as recommended by Congressman Bob Filner. To my last recollection, he is in no way, shape, or form behind the recommendation that Blackwater get this major use permit.
Well, that's right.
That wasn't it. But we went down and talked to him, and that was one of the recommendations he made to us.
He says that, he realized that we have no acceptance or rejection authority in the matter. He says, however, you are in a position where you can get some of these demands in writing, some of these promises in writing. And we said, that's a good idea. And he offered to the assistance of his office in order to be able to get those things in writing at the appropriate time. And we said, we certainly want to take you up on that. Because if the County of San Diego does go through with this major use permit, then I hope that at the least we can get some concessions out of Blackwater.
When do you think you'll get these concessions? Because now it's been almost a year that they've been talking about it, but they haven't done any concession yet that I'm aware of. So just out of curiosity, come December, they will have been 1 year into this, and if it's a 2-year process, you'll have 1 more year to go, and we still haven't heard anything from them.
The EIRs have to be issued first.
That's right.
And I have been promised the opportunity to review those EIRs. The county has very strict requirements on when people can see the EIRs. They simply are not open to the public until they've been accepted by the county. And then they go out for comment and that type of thing. So there's a window of opportunity that we will have to review those. And then we'll have an opportunity to go back to the county and say, okay, we need more detail on the traffic plan. We would like to see this on Round Potrero Road. We'd like to have this on the recall is successful. And the next board just simply says, no, Blackwater, we don't care. Now, everything we've asked Blackwater for, they said, now we can ignore because it's no longer a requirement. And, so we're in the rock, between a rock and a hard place. So, I would hope that we can get concessions out of Blackwater.
I hate to do this, but when you were talking about EIRs, you were talking about that timeline, and I just remembered at that meeting that we were all at the Lake Marina on the Sunrise Power Lake, they're asking for people with time on their hands and students that are in the schools to please come and pick up a volume, because they're going to have, what, like 700,000 volumes of this stuff, of the EIR, and they're going to give us just a small window for that. So they're asking anybody with any...
That's the Power Lake EIR though.
Yeah,
that's
the
Blackwater
Lake.
Yeah, we're talking about
And I know, I just remember that.
And Blackwater's EIR is in modules. And so there's the traffic module, there's this module, there's that module, and all of those are going to be available for review and for hearings. And we'll be able to give our input into those documents.
How long is that period of input allowed? Like for everybody to view an EIR? Is that a standard time or is that per?
That is a standard time.
Okay. What is, do you know what that is? 45 days?
Yeah, that sounds right. They're on the accelerated plan, it used to be 90 days, I don't know whether it's 90 or 45.
And that's for the full response and everything, anybody?
Right. And rather than having to go down and get a copy of it and finding out when it's available, I have been promised that we will get a copy up front. As soon as it is available, we will be furnished a copy.
Okay.
So we don't have to
Go
down and find out if it's been released yet.
Are they going to send that to you over the computer, hopefully maybe, and you can send it on to everybody else?
I don't know whether it's going to go online or not.
Because they're not doing that with the SPL. They're making you go to pick up a volume and all that. They won't put it on electronically.
Yeah. I know that I'll be receiving a copy.
Oh, it's not true? Oh, good to hear that. That's not true, she said. They are going to do it on electronically, so.
Okay.
When you say we, does that mean the community or just the planning board?
It would certainly become a community review, assuming I'm still chair at the time. If I'm not chair at the time, then you'll have to talk to whoever is the chair at the time. But I assume that it will come to the chair. And, to me, this is important enough to where I would call a special meeting if necessary in order to be able to get it reviewed and maybe even set up some committees, subcommittees to review different portions of it.
I thought you could sign up and have it mailed to you also.
You can.
But it won't be sent to you as soon as the one that he would be getting.
Yeah.
It'll be like a week or so delay, that's what they told me.
Fran?
Are you aware of any limitations on how many copies we can make of the review?
If we're paying the photocopy bill, we can make all of them.
We're paying. Have a limit on how many times they can be reproduced.
No.
Yeah, we're putting the bill, we can make as many as we need.
That's correct.
Can I make a comment on this?
Yes.
Raymond Lett, Citizens Oversight. I'd like to suggest that you strike the first two items on here because those are statements of political nature and that's not under purview of the committee at all. On number 4, I suggest that you rephrase that and say, for the board to be able to get the Blackwater promises in writing as recommended by Congressman Bob Filner, then in the event the county approves it, because the way it's written right now, the Congressman Bob Filner is closest to as recommended by, and so it implies that he's recommended that the major use permit be approved.
That's why I misunderstood that.
Yeah, so that should be rephrased so that it's clear.
Because I misconstrued that to think this, that he approved it.
I agree.
What he's doing is giving you the recommendation to get those things in writing. But it doesn't say that when you read it. It's not reading it.
And then finally, I'd like to clarify my statements with regard to the recall election and Form 534. I've looked at Form 534 as submitted by this committee that's within the binder down at DPLU. The form is blank except for one sentence at the bottom that says that the community is interested in the noise and expects a noise live fire noise test.
That's the December,
This is the one that's in the binder.
they are both in the binder.
Yeah.
I personally delivered it.
Yeah. And I have to say that Form 534 that I found, which was the initial work of this committee, is frankly a disaster. I mean, this is a form that has line after line of things, and I've sat in committees and we've gone over all of the issues that are related to this huge project, and we said, well, let's not work on all of the issues, let's just work on the important ones. So let's just star the ones that are important. And when we got done with the EIR categories, they all had stars except for 2 of them. And it should have been split up amongst the body, and then maybe you would have had 10, 20 pages of comments on this thing. And excuse me, if I can finish, excuse me, sir, if I can finish my time on the floor. I would like to speak, excuse me.
Your time is up. You've had your 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Would you,
I have a question over there.
yes.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to December and your exact words when you guys voted on this. It says, with Gordon Hammer, so we entertain a motion to reject, to approve without conditions, or approve with conditions. And one of the board members says approve with conditions. And then Thale says, I make a motion that we accept it with conditions. So you do have the word approve there, with conditions.
Right.
Also, if you're on a...
Conditions.
Yeah, right. But if you're on a planning board, if you think this project is fit and consistent, just like the answers we have on the petition, if you think this project fits Potrero and its rural community, that you guys really have to go back and look on the sub-regional plan, because this has no way it's going to meet the major finding, especially with all the density they're trying to get up there, with 6 times the density, the noise, the overhead.
What are they applying for, Carl?
Pardon me?
Are they applying for a building permit, or are they applying for a
Yes, they
major
are.
use
They're
permit?
applying for a major use
A
permit.
major use permit.
And a rezone of the agricultural preserve. That this community.
That's correct.
But then people around there on that Potrero Road recognized that that was a zone 40-acre parcel and an agricultural preserve. They didn't expect
You're
the
singing
county.
to the choir.
You didn't expect
That's
the
why
county.
we have to
no,
get a major
you
use
didn't,
permit.
and we
They
don't
don't have it by right.
Yes, but we don't expect the county to hire a lawyer, what worked for the law firm of Blackwater, now works at DPLU. 1. 2, meet with Chandler Waller's office with their lobbyist, Brian Bonfiglio, and the director of
Okay, well,
planning.
you're off the subject, and that's not in the purview of this
Well, if
board.
you think this county is going to listen to you because of all what they put the grease, the wheels down there, the county,
You're making unfounded accusations.
I have it in black and white where they met and who they met and when they met. And this county is, and with Duncan Hunter's input, with Diane Jacobs met with her office down there in El Cajon back in May, that you think they're not greased the wheels before they even got here and we knew about it, then you guys are just naive as hell.
But that's not even in our purview.
But we should be,
We don't have any real
it's an
say.
indication of what the power this could have and why we should be against it. If you look at our sub-regional plan on page 9, on number 11, it talks about almost specifically this. If you add in the commercial, industrial, why it says the county, it's a regulation too. The county should deny these claims, and one of the claims is almost exactly would fit this project.
Could you give
Yes,
us a
so
copy of that
you're
plan?
singing to the choir, Carl, we all
Well,
understand.
no, I'm not. I'm singing to the sub-regional plan. And why don't you guys go by
Your
it?
3 minutes are up. Emil?
Can somebody explain to him that all you people are is an advisory group? They have no say so. Excuse me, ma'am. If you guys cannot see here and says, no, we don't want Blackwater, all they're gonna do is go around their backs.
No, they can't, because we
It's
can
an advisory-
appeal.
Carol,
We can
it's
appeal
an
to the
advisory
planning
group,
board.
Carol.
We can appeal it.
Okay, it's an advisory group and that is it, all right? So why are we sitting over here just listen to Carol go on and on and on? Let's move on.
Okay, we have a patient hand over
Want to
here.
hear what he has to say. She, even Brenda wanted to know if she could
You're out of
have a
order.
copy of it.
You're out of order, ma'am.
Okay, my question is, if they do get this and the rezone happens, will it rezone, how far will this rezone affect? Okay, where is this I'm an agricultural preserve, but I'm on Harris Ranch Road. Is that going to change my zoning as well because we're all on the same block?
Strictly the
Where
project.
does it stop with just the project?
The boundary lines of their property.
Is my boundary line my rezoning area then? Oh, really? Because that's not how it is in Spring Valley.
Okay.
Spring Valley City is
If you're going for a major use permit, then you only have authority over the property that you have authority over.
Because in Spring Valley it goes in big blocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready for the question?
I agree. Do I have the ability to speak?
The chair recognizes Jan.
I agree with Raymond that the first two should be deleted because I think that's one of the problems. We need to keep it a land use issue even as a planning group. And so getting rid of that, those two would be, would simplify the form and be more accurate. And the revision for number 4 that he spoke of, because it does mislead.
Yeah, on number 4, all we would have to do is put a period after major use permit, and Bob Filner recommend getting it in writing. And then we just make it 2 sentences, and it's very clear that he didn't approve of the project. Getting any of our promises, getting them in writing.
I've lost track. We have a motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. Oh.
We didn't have a motion.
Ready for a motion?
Well, I made a motion.
I still move.
Well, I would recommend that we make that correction too.
Okay, are you making the motion on the first on the motion?
On
Okay, I make a motion we get rid of the first 2 and then revise number 4 if I have to do it.
Well,
Do we have a second? Okay, dies for lack of a second. Do we have any other motions concerning this resolution?
Well, yeah.
Okay, we have
Number
a
4.
second.
Did you say that again?
I'll make a motion to accept it as it is with the modification on number 4.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, call the roll.
Okay. Jerry Johnson?
Aye.
Del Fowler?
Aye.
Mary Johnson? Yes. Jan Hedlund?
No.
Gordon Hammers?
Aye.
Janet Wright?
Aye.
Carries.
5 yes, 1 no. Can I say something after the vote? Or
Yes.
I don't know if I should or not, but, you know, number 1 and number 2 seems to be a bone of contention. But it seems to me that some people think it's perfectly all right to exercise political muscle when it's their political muscle. But if you want to talk about political stuff and you want to put it in writing, then they're going like, no, you can't call it. It is absolutely true. This has become a political issue. There's no doubt about it. You can ask people in North County and everywhere. this has been made into a political issue, not by the planning group. And you can believe whatever you want to believe, but we did not make it a political issue. We have insisted it is a land use issue.
Okay, we're ready for a motion to adjourn.
The one that made it a political issue is sitting over here. His name is Raymond Lutz. Or Raymond.
There's so much to it.
I got Blackwater in the headline.
Not that easy.
Well,
I put Blackwater in a row.
Okay, Kit, you were patient and haven't spoken before.
Well, I guess I'm totally confused. Are we removing paragraph 1 and 2 or not?
No.
Because it is a land use issue. So once again, you're not listening to what the Turo citizens want. You're caring about what you want.
Was it not political this weekend?
It has become a political issue.
Oh,
But
yes,
it
it was. I was
is
there.
primarily a land use issue.
It's a land use issue.
it is a land
So
use
make
issue.
it a land use issue, remove the first 2 paragraphs.
Yeah, right. And don't say what's true. Cover up the truth.
You have
Number
no
one
control.
is saying it is a land use issue, rather, it should be a land use issue rather than a political issue.
Yeah.
Well,
It is a political issue.
Then say, as
Then why are
this
you guys
is a
voting?
land
Why are you
use
voting?
issue.
It
Or
says
and
that.
leave it at that.
Gordon,
It
we
says
have
that.
no control over this thing becoming a political issue.
That's right.
I think it was taken out of our hands a long time ago.
By who?
So I don't think we need to include those in there.
I'm sorry, Jerry, but as far as I'm concerned, you brought this guy in.
Now accept it. You guys are right. Accept it.
Okay, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Deal with
I
it.
make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Bye.